Come along and join us today as we turn this regular old passageway from the kitchen into the living room into this glorious set of privacy French doors with a magnificent stained glass transom. This is where the French doors are going to be installed. This is just what it looks like beforehand. Just a big opening. We've got some little glass panels at the top. And then this is just the frame. This is exactly how the house came. So we want to separate these two rooms. So we're going to go ahead and put the French doors in here. This measured exactly 6 feet. Let's go ahead and get started and get this French door put in. What we discovered is our gap between the two posts was a little bit too wide. So it looked like we needed about 1/4 of an inch to fill. It might be a tad more. But what I discovered is I had this left over from another project. These are cedar safe closet liners. So it's strips of cedar and they're exactly 1/4 of an inch. This is what they look like. They come in a lot longer. This one's cut. And the only thing I had to do is they were a little wider than I needed. There's a small lip. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. This little lip. On the ones I installed, I just had to saw that. So I just cut the lip off. And then it was the exact width of the door trim, the inner door trim there. So it worked out just right, and then it bumped this out 1/4 of an inch. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough. If not, I might need to do one, either a double layer or put one on the other side. It doesn't matter what these look like because they're going to be pretty much completely hidden when we're finished with the project. So I just thought that was a neat little way to, and these are actually pretty cheap. I think it was, like I said, I had these left over, but I don't know, it was 20 or 30 bucks for a giant box full of these. And these are great too. They smell really nice. They have that nice fresh cedar scent. So what I'm doing next is I'm trimming both of the doors down to 78 1/4 inches. These were exterior. This was an exterior door, so it's they're built up a little higher because it comes with a metal threshold. But we're going to have no threshold since it's an interior door. So you got to trim off some extra so that there's not too big of a gap in the bottom of between the door and the floor. We just want maybe like a 1/2 inch gap or less. So I went ahead and marked that where I wanted to drill it, and then we're going to go ahead and put this on the saw here. And this is how you get a nice straight cut. Gotta prop the back up though. Keep it flat. So I'm going to put a little shim back here. All right, got it nice and level. I got to just line up where I put my mark. Looks about right. And that's how we get a nice level straight cut. Now I've got the side parts here trimmed to the height I want. I tested with the doors on. The doors have just the right amount of clearance that I want. And then the last thing I did after I did that, I cut my cross beam. So this is going to go up here. And that's going to fit in nice and snug. I cut it just right, so I got to tap it with the hammer to get it into place. Before I put that cross beam in, I'm going to go ahead and attach these to the walls because it's going to pull them up tight to the walls. So this is going to move a little bit. Once I got those in place, then I'm going to put my cross beam in, and that's what we'll be screwing to. So let's go ahead and screw these side walls in. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill because I don't want to split out. Some of this might be going into some of this trim, although behind the trim is solid wood from what I can tell. But I still want to pre-drill. Okay, I want to pre-drill so we don't split anything out. I've got some nice 4-inch screws. I prefer the star drive. So go ahead and put that in. And what I did with my drill, you might not have noticed, instead of doing a separate step to where you kind of drill out for to account for the head of the screw, what I do is I screw all the way in, and then I let the head of the drill go in a little bit. The little grasp that grasps the drill, I let that go a little bit into the wood. That's so that the head of the screw will go in nice and flush. So, here, let me show you up close. So you can see there how it's wedged out a little bit. So that should make the screw head sit nice and flush in there. Yeah, pulled it up nice and tight. So I'm just going to go ahead and do those all the way around the frame now and get this nice and tight and in place. We got all the screws put in, and then Dad filled them with wood filler, so you can see there. And he's going to be doing the top right now. That's how you fill them, and then once that dries, you'll want to sand them down a little bit and then paint them. So that's what we'll be doing next. Alright, so we've got the basic installation pretty much done. Let me show you how it works here. So the next, what we did here is we went ahead and put in all of our screws into the wall, and then we covered them up with some wood filler, and then sanded it and then painted over them. And then also into the 2x4, so there's this 2x4 that we put up above there. So this is all screwed, it's all sanded, wood filled and painted. Then we drilled out a little hole here, and that's for the little notch that goes in this part of the door. So there's a little notch here that pops up here, see this little guy? And that's what holds the door in place. So we drilled that out, put in our little faceplate, and so that's what it holds. So this is basically, the door with the little insert is the door you want to put that's not going to open most of the time. So this is the main door people will use. And then we put some really attractive little knobs from Schlage on there. Kind of has a little Victorian type look. So those will keep it closed. And then we got these nifty French doors that have the little blinds that go up and down. Another handy feature. So that's it for this part. That's the main part of the installation of the doors. Next thing we're going to do is we just put this train up here temporarily, but we're going to put a nice pretty stained glass in this space and then close the rest of it off around it and frame that in.